Be going over my project of a variation of the card game War. So to start off, I made an array of suits and values, and for the ace, jack, queen, and K, I assigned their appropriate value of 1, 11, 12, 13. Some people, I read online, I've never played War, so I ultimately decided that the ace was going to be valued at 1, even though some people value at 14, but nonetheless, continuing on, I made a class deck, a class player, class card, and since we have two separate arrays, I wanted to make one array that combines both of them and makes 52 unique cards. So that's what I did in function fetch deck, and then I implemented this function into the deck, into the class deck, and I wanted to rearrange all the cards within the deck so that each game had a different order of cards. And in this shuffle function, that's what I did in order to achieve that goal. Now, continuing on, I start game and I make the start game function so that and put const deck equals new deck so that every game we play, we start off with a new deck and that new deck is shuffled. So again, reinstating that we will be having a fresh deck with a new order every time we play the game. Now, since I implemented this randomization code to the full deck, all I have to do is split the deck in two and assign one deck to player one and one deck to player two. And as you can see here, I made a code. I wrote code in order to assign the first half of that deck to player one and the second half of that deck to player two. Now, not second, but continuing on, I have to compare the values of each card from deck one and deck two to each other. And I do that by doing a for loop. As you can see, I put i's less than game rounds and I equal game rounds to 26. I got the number 26 because there's 26 cards assigned to each player, so there's only 26 rounds within the game. Now, this const player card, player one card and player two card retrieves the value of the card from their designated decks. And if card one is greater than card two, then player one wins round and player one is assigned a point. And if player one card is less than player two card, player two wins round and player two is assigned a point. Now, if the case is that player one is equal to player two value, then the round is tied. This code, the player two code, the player 2 points plus plus player 1 point plus plus allows me to add up all the points won in a game. And I console log the amount of points won here. And if player 1 points is greater than player 2 points, player one wins. And if player 1 points is less than player 2 points, player two wins. If it happens to be a tie and they both have the same amount of wins, then the game is a tie. Down below here is my unit testing for this script. And next I'll be showing you how this will look like when I apply it to a console. So when I bring in the script, it returns this output. I wanted to show each individual round, and when I output when I output it, and I also show the amount of points player one has and the amount of points player two has. Now, as you can see, player 1 has 16 points and player 2 has 9 points, and it brings the appropriate value, not value, but appropriate output of player 1 wins the game. Now, if we decide to do another example, we can see that the rounds 1 are different from the first script I had entered. And as you can see, player 1 now has 13 points and player 2 now has 11 points, and player 1 still wins. So that will conclude my project.